The Senate voted 26-3 in favor of restoring millions of dollars in funding at public health agencies in a rebuke of some DOGE policies. AFGE applauded the move, but cautioned that the budget process is far from over. Let's jump right into last weekend's Southern Labor. This is a segment that we do every week where we take a look at what workers in the U.S. South and the American colonies were up to. Here's what they were up to from August 8th to the 15th in new union campaigns. 5 workers at Hillside Rehab and Healthcare Center filed a petition to hold a union election with the Service Employees International Union, SEIU Healthcare Missouri, Kansas, that is located in Missouri. 34 workers at Waste Connections in Richwood, Missouri, filed a petition to hold a union election with the Teamsters Local 610. 62 workers at New Fortress Energy in San Juan, Puerto Rico, filed a petition to hold a union election with the United Steelworkers, USW. 14 workers at Custom Fabrication in Philpott, Kentucky, filed a petition to hold a union election with the Central Midwest Regional Council of Carpenters. 55 workers at QSL and Ameriforce Management Services in New Orleans, Louisiana, filed a petition to hold a union election with the International Longshoremen's Association, ILA. 36 workers at GM Culinary in Austin, Texas, filed a petition to hold a union election with Unite Here, Local 23. In union election results, 69 workers at People's Transit in Atlanta, Georgia, voted 11-3 in favor of unionization with the Amalgamated Transit Union, ATU Local 732. In a statement commending the workers for their victory, the union highlighted poor pay, weak benefits, and concerns about the safety of the vehicles that transport people with disabilities and seniors as issues that they will be looking to address in their first contract. 360 workers at Pratt & Whitney Engine Services in Bridgeport, West Virginia, voted 121-222 against unionization with the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, IAMAW. 5 workers at Marmac Fire and Safety in Gulfport, Mississippi, voted 0-5 against unionization with the United Association of Plumbers and Pipefitters, the UA's Road Sprinkler Fitter, Local 669. 80 workers at Magic City Casino in Miami, Florida, voted in a decertification election 32-46 against maintaining unionization with Unite Here, Local 355. The union has been decertified. 20 workers at Starbucks in Kansas City, Missouri, voted 12-4 in favor of unionization with Starbucks Workers United, and 176 security guards at Preeminent Protective Services in Washington, D.C., voted 11-0 in favor of unionization with Preeminent Protective Services Workers United. In strikes and bargaining updates, workers at several D.C. restaurants owned by Star and Knightsbridge unionized recently, rather than respecting the workers' wishes. Management has launched an anti-union campaign, and the union has now called for a boycott of Star's Le Diplomate, Osteria Moza, The Occidental, and Knightsbridge's Rasica, Modena, and Bombay Club. 64 members of Congress have already signed a pledge to respect the boycott. Non-union carriers operating at the General Motors Bowling Green assembly plant in Kentucky are refusing to meet area standard compensation and benefits, undercutting decades of progress made under the Teamsters National Master Automobile Transporters Agreement, NMATA. Teamsters car haul drivers picketed the plant in protest last week. The Teamsters threatened to strike UPS in Kentucky and several other states if the company didn't budge, and the company did. As a result of the Teamsters strike threat, the company resolved multiple outstanding grievances and agreed to a first contract for newly unionized administrative workers in Louisville. In their press release celebrating the win, the Teamsters did still point to other outstanding issues like a lack of movement on new trucks with AC, the illegal buyout offers at UPS, and company violations of contractual time off rules. Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate. Workers at Diversicare, a nursing home in Pell City, Alabama, who recently unionized with the Retail, Wholesale, and Department Store Union, RWDSU, secured their first union contract with significant pay increases and increased time off, according to the union. Restaurant workers in Kentucky at Feast Barbecue and Royals Hot Chicken, who recently unionized with the United Food and Commercial Workers, UFCW Local 227, secured their first union contract with a $1 an hour wage increase immediately and more over the life of the contract, plus health insurance and a grievance process. In political and legislative updates, a man tried to commit a mass shooting at the CDC in Atlanta because of misinformation regarding the COVID vaccine. While he didn't make it into the building, he did kill a police officer in his attempt before being killed himself. The union at the CDC blames the attack in part on their boss, RFK Jr. The week before last, Trump ripped up union contracts with workers at the VA. Last week, he did the same at FEMA and the EPA. Justin Chin, president of AFGE Council 238, which represents 8,000 EPA workers, said the union will continue to fight for its members and the agency's mission. As if ripping up union contracts at the VA was not enough, the Trump administration is now rescinding weeks of parental leave for VA workers, including some who are giving birth this week. No doubt because of decisions like this, doctors who are offered a job at the VA are turning down the offers at 4 times the rate that they were last year. VA employees in Nashville, along with friend of the show Vonda McDaniel, who's president of the Nashville Labor Council, protested these actions and more in a rally last week. The Senate Appropriations Committee voted 26-3 in favor of restoring millions of dollars in funding at public health agencies for the fiscal year that begins on October 1st in a rebuke of some DOGE policies. AFGE leaders at NIOSH and the CDC applauded the move, but cautioned that the budget process is far from over. Railroad Workers United, a cross-craft caucus of railroad workers, issued a statement opposing the proposed merger of Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern. They noted that should the merger move forward and be condoned by the U.S. government, the remaining 2 Class 1 railroads, BNSF and CSX, would in effect be forced to amalgamate as well, resulting in just 4 major rail corporations controlling not just the industry but the infrastructure as well. Upwards of 90% of the rail traffic of North America will be controlled by these 4 corporations. They point to potential bad outcomes for Amtrak, workers on the railroads, and shippers who use the rails. Most rail unions have been public in their opposition as well. Social Security is 90 this year, and the AFL-CIO celebrated the program while pointing to the ways that the Trump administration is endangering it. And in internal union affairs, Alabama man Nathaniel Lloyd from Local 108 in Bessemer, Alabama, won Apprentice of the Year from the International Brotherhood of Boilermakers. The International Association of Firefighters, IAFF, won an $8 million grant from the National Institutes of Health, NIH, to expand their hazmat response training programs, the largest grant in the union's history. If we missed anything, let us know, tvlr.fm/contact, and we'll include your union updates in next week's roundup. If you would like to get the exhaustive list of what happened last week in Southern Labor, you can subscribe to the newsletter at tvlr.fm. You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.
Which side are you on?